Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. Big day, you know, I finally have the Scout suspension done. Finally, it's been a week or something, but the shackle reversal is no more. The shackle reversal is reversed, and I could not be happier. Before I did it, the Scout, I could stand here and push, and the Scout would barely move. And now, you know, you can really get some suspension movement out of it. You can see that. You know, I mean, that's how it's supposed to act, right? And the front, I used to be able to jump up and down on this thing, and it would like go nowhere. But now, again, you can get actual suspension action. Without the shocks on, it's like boingy, boingy, boing. So, very happy with it. Let me show you the setup. So there you see is the shackle angle at ride height. And there is a CPT spring hanger, and then behind that, you see a little peak of blue popping out? That's actually the, those are the splines for the front drive shaft, and you weren't even able to see that blue before, but now, even though the truck's lower, I've got more spline exposure. Let's talk about the rest of the list. So yeah, got the shackles done, the ride's fixed. Those are the two most important things for me. At night, I did the door latch, so the driver's side door would just fling open on right turns or off-roading. I have the old one here. So basically, there's this main arm here. It's kind of greasy, sorry. And this rivet that holds it had worked loose, and it's just the arm slips off of the detents. And that's what was causing it to, you could just open it at any time. The rear shackles used to be these 5 1/4 inch shackles, and now it's just 3 inches in the back. So that's why it's pretty level. And you know, the front came down about 1.5 inches. The whole truck came down about 1 1/4 inches, 1.5 inches. So I'm much happier with this stance. Once I take the body lift out, which is over here on the list, it'll be at exactly the height I want it. That might be the next thing I do, because even though it is kind of involved, I have to lower my rock sliders because, and that's up here, rock slider mod. They're right up against the body, so I have to figure out how to get them 1 inch lower. It's pretty thick wall tubing, so I like cut them and then bevel in something. I also want them to stick out just a little bit farther because you can't use them as a step at all, and it'd be nice to have them be kind of dual purpose, have it be a rock slider as a rock guard and something you can use to step in and out of the truck. Bump stops is no big deal. I just have to measure it at compression and order the right size and then mount it up. That's a pretty easy fab. I'm not going to do those fancy shock bump stops. Like, I'm not doing King of the Hammers. Like, I just need something to protect the parts of the vehicle in case I do a big whoop. F350 shock tower. So I have a set here. And actually, I didn't realize this when I ordered these on Amazon, but IH Parts America has something similar, and maybe it's different and better suited for the Scout. But basically, this set comes with the, you know, the eyes up top, and then it comes with the hardware. Sorry, the heater kicked on. So what I have right now, is this shock tower. There's my shocks. It's set up for dual. I only have one on there right now. And this cross brace, okay? Now this cross brace, it's pretty good. I mean, it ties the frame together and is pretty sturdy. It's kind of, well, it's messy now because of the wires and the fuel lines, but imagine all that stuff's gone. I could still have room to raise the engine. It needs to be angled up a little bit and move back about 2 or 3 inches to clear the, you can see the front pump there is right up against the radiator. I want to run a mechanical fan, so I got to get this engine back and up. So this doesn't get in the way. So I can return the shock towers I have. I'm just, you know, I'm like, I want to keep things simple, right? I don't want to get over my head like I did with the Bronco. So maybe I just leave it as it is, even though it's not ideal, because it functions and it works. So those are two the same thing. Because it functions and it's not going to harm my future build plans. How's that? That's better. Heater over here in the box. See that box over there? That box contains a totally used Scout 2 heater and the controls and the ducting and all that stuff. So I am going to install that along with a steering column, which is also in that box, tilt steering column that's blue. So I gotta paint that. Dash and gauges. Okay, so I ordered, this is crazy. I ordered a Bronco dash for my Scout. This is actually a dash overlay and it's completely blank. There's no holes other than for the steering column. You know, I have access to a used dash for a Scout. There's a lot of stuff in a Scout dash that I'm never gonna end up using. And with my cage, I can't really fit the Scout dash around the cage that's in it. Whereas with this, since it's an overlay, I can easily just sort of cut and break the ends to slide behind my my roll cage, and then I can lay out my instruments however I want. So I'm just trying to figure out what the plan is. I've been looking at gauges and goodness gracious are they expensive. Now I've got Autometer sport comps in there, but they're all mechanical, right? So I've got that nylon tube with the oil pressure, and I've got the coily thing for the water temperature, and I'd much rather just go to electric gauges, but holy smokes, it's expensive. I've thought about just doing one of those big Bronco gauge clusters on there. I'm still thinking about it though, we'll see. But along with the indicators that are on that, I would also want potentially like air fuel and vacuum. Depends on whether I stay with carb or not. That's another story. Heater, rust, fuel, right. That kind of depends on my motor situation, so let's ignore that for a second. Drive shaft, that depends on, that's just measuring. Bumpers, top end, EFI, leave that for now. Move engine back, blah, 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 blah. Right, Atlas, 5-speed, LS paint. All right, so I went to the off-road swap meet this weekend, and I bought, this is an a Dodge MP 241 transfer case. And I think that the AX15 bolts directly to this. I just don't know if I need a clocking ring to get this to sit up higher, but this would be a great transfer case for me because I'm not, you know, a huge off-road guy, and a chain-driven unit would be more than enough for the little off-roading that I do. Plus, it already has a short output. I mean, what am I looking at here? Is this not a 241? It looks like a 241, and it's passenger side drop. So, like, right, here's the vent. It's pointed up. Like, it's a 241, right? So let's assume that's a 241 for argument's sake. I'm gonna go to Pick and Pull this weekend and see if I can find an AX15. If I can, I'm gonna pull that, then I'll stab these two together and see what I'm looking at, see if I need to buy an adapter. And then once I have the AX15, I'll take a look inside, and then we'll talk to Advanced Adapters about getting a kit to adapt it to my 350. It's a far cry from an Atlas transfer case, but I paid 50 bucks for that. So if it works, score, right? So LS, I keep researching the LS. So I'm like watching eBay, you know, it's the nickel and diming of the little stuff that gets you, right? Like, first of all, LS motors are getting to be pretty high mileage, the ones that you can pick up. And the ones that aren't are very expensive. And then the LT motors are starting to hit the market, but with LTs, it's an electric pump for the power steering, so you have to do this very expensive conversion. And then I mean, just go look at the kits for converting to an LS, right? You're spending thousands of dollars. I know it's more efficient. I know it's a better motor, but like this motor can put out good power and get reasonable performance for what it is, an old truck. So I'm actually I've been studying my carb and trying to get more carb guru. I mean, I'll never be a carb guru. That's like a different breed, but I'm just trying to understand it better. So that's all still up in there. What I'm struggling with is like, after I take the body lift out, you know, any of this other stuff, it like cascades, right? Like to do the heater, I have to move the battery. It's like, am I gonna move the battery before I do the electrical? You know, it just casts, and then like, am I gonna do the tilt steering before I should do the tilt steering when I do the electrical? Like, when am I gonna paint it? Like, it just, you know, I'm just trying to figure it out, guys, as I go. So that's it, working our way down the list. The Scout 2 windshield wiper motor is actually the next thing I'm gonna do. It's not on the list, but you need a windshield wiper. And mine was just so slow, and both speeds were the same, slow speed. So I have I took it apart, cleaned it, put it back together, and it's still just not loving life. So I have a solution on order, and I'm gonna give you a detailed video on how to make that solution work. So that's what's up next. And then after that, more list. See you next time on Matt's Garage. Smells like gas. Oh, in case you're wondering why I'm wearing a monkey suit, it's because it's lunch and I'm working from home today and between meetings, so I was able to sneak in a cheeky episode.